9 months. Haven't been able to touch her, haven't been able to actually have a meaningful conversation with her.
They've been isolated and alone.
It makes you very sad. And it makes you sad for what she's going through.
Tonight, the agony for families unable to see their elderly loved ones this Christmas.
She's 87 years old. I mean, how many more Christmases do you think we're going to have with her?
With the FDA on the verge of approving another vaccine, we are digging into plans to get those doses into long-term care facilities.
Plus, lawmakers say they are close to a deal, and it could mean direct payments to you.
It seemed completely arbitrary and utterly unfair.
More inmates coming forward, frustrated with the new policy in Jeffco that changes their early release dates. Tonight, we continue our push for answers.
There are going to be attorneys all over the place who are going to start filing motions.
And first tonight, snow is falling in parts of the high country, and that means snow will start making its way down to the metro tomorrow.
That is exactly why we're under Denver7 Weather Action Day. Meteorologist Stacey Donaldson is here with what it looks like over the next 24 hours. Stace?
It looks like we are going to see snow come out of the mountains down across the Front Range. It should be very light here for our area. We've really seen some light snowfall off and on in the Glenwood Springs area. As you can see right here, we have some snow-covered hills out there, but it will be a little while before it gets here to the Front Range. Looks like mid-morning tomorrow. And right now we do have a winter weather advisory in effect for our northern and central mountains. Areas that are shaded in purple there for up to 3 to 7 inches of snow before 5 p.m. tomorrow evening. So it is already snowing in the high country, as you mentioned, and we're going to continue to see this snow come our direction and move into the metro. And we're going to be seeing that tomorrow throughout the day. But our temperatures are going to drop into the 30s for afternoon highs. So early tomorrow we'll be in the 20s to start the day, and then we'll only be into the upper 30s by the early afternoon. So it does look like we're going to have a change not only temperature-wise, but precipitation-wise. We'll see that snow move in tomorrow. I'll show you more of a timeline of what we expect and how much coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you. In a matter of hours, we could have another weapon to get this pandemic under control. An FDA panel today recommended a second coronavirus vaccine, this one from Moderna. 20 were in favor, no one voted against it, one panelist abstained. We expect the FDA to agree with the committee's recommendation, and that could come as early as tomorrow morning. Now, the two big differences between the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines: Moderna's second dose comes 28 days after the first. Pfizer's comes 21 days after. And unlike the Pfizer vaccine, the Moderna vaccine can be stored in a typical freezer. About 95,000 doses of the Moderna vaccine will make its way to Colorado, and we could see more needles in arms as early as Monday.
And since Monday, more than 8,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine have been administered in Colorado. Those are going to healthcare workers who have direct contact with COVID patients. Now, we know long-term care residents are also expected to get vaccines during phase 1, but no vaccines have made their way into those facilities yet.
And as we approach Christmas, that means many families will have to spend the holidays without seeing their parents and grandparents. And that includes a Longmont woman. Denver7's Gary Brode says all she wants for Christmas this year is to hold her mom.
Any other year, Valerie McHugh would be spending Christmas with her mother.
Can't do that at all.
As we all know, this is no ordinary year.
She's 87 years old. I mean, how many more Christmases do you think we're going to have with her?
Her mother, Donna, is living inside a Longmont care facility. She, like so many others, are wondering when they can hug their mother or father, grandmother or grandfather. It's a harsh reality many are dealing with this holiday.
We didn't get Thanksgiving, and now we're on another holiday. And when does it become a viable situation for you to be able to actually touch your mother again?
More than half of the state's nursing homes are dealing with active COVID outbreaks, and many are wondering why hasn't the vaccine made its way into these facilities?
When is that going to happen?
As part of phase 1, vaccinations are meant for healthcare workers and residents and staff inside long-term care facilities.
Great if she can get the vaccination, and then we can resume what we had when that happens.
The plan is for pharmacists from CVS and Walgreens to administer the shots. State health leaders say right now pharmacies are arranging plans with the facilities, and they will be going into the facilities to administer the vaccine. We estimate in around 10 days they will begin vaccinating. Within a few weeks, they can do all skilled nursing facilities. We want this program to start as early as possible. So while this Christmas we may be apart from our loved ones, there's growing hope that the coming holidays will be celebrated the way they should be, together. Gary Brode, Denver7.
And listen, in just the last few minutes, we learned the state was supposed to receive about 56,000 more doses of the Pfizer vaccine tomorrow. Well, that number has dropped to around 39,000 because of a decision from Operation Warp Speed leadership. We do know 25,000 of those 39,000 doses will help get residents and staff vaccinated inside Colorado's nursing facilities. And the CDC will alert the state on a weekly basis now on how many doses we can expect to receive.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill say they're close to reaching a deal on a new COVID relief package that will include another round of stimulus checks. This $900 billion package could include direct payments of $600, and those could go out as early as the end of the month. There's also talk about renewing the Paycheck Protection Program, renewing unemployment benefits to provide an extra $300 a week, rental assistance, and food assistance. They're also included in the plan. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said the Senate will have to work through this weekend to resolve any remaining differences on the bill in order to get this thing passed. We know there are so many Coloradans who need that stimulus check right now. According to new numbers just released today, about 20,000 Coloradans filed for unemployment for the first time last week. Almost half of those work in the food and hospitality industry.
If you live in Denver, restrictions likely won't ease up for several weeks. The director of the city's health department said today Denver will likely remain in the red zone for at least another 3 to 4 weeks, and it could be longer if cases don't decline. The city needs to hit an incidence rate of 350 cases per 100,000 people. Right now, it's about 700 cases per 100,000. And Denver's mayor says the city will apply for the state's 5-star variance program. This would allow businesses to open with fewer restrictions if they implement strict health and safety protocols, including contact tracing and quality ventilation. For example, businesses in a county that is under level red could operate a level above at level orange. Mayor Hancock said around 7,000 businesses could qualify for this program in his city. And here's a look at where some of the other counties stand right now. Adams and Jeffco say they aren't yet eligible for the program. Counties currently under level red can only be eligible if they have 2 weeks of a decline in positivity rates and hospitalizations. Arapahoe County says they're submitting a variance in the hopes they can accept applications before the end of the year. And Larimer County is working on a similar program of their own called Level Up. They say they are meeting with the governor to talk about that program again tomorrow. Now, as for business owners, they say this cannot come soon enough. Operating with eased restrictions means getting people back into restaurants during the winter months.
At this moment, I think time is of the essence. The cold weather's upon us, and that's kind of the sense of urgency for us.
If cases start to increase again, the program could be suspended at any time.
More Jefferson County inmates are coming forward, calling a change in jail policy unfair.
The policy changes early release dates, causing inmates to serve longer sentences. And inmates say it is costing them thousands of extra dollars.
Denver7's Addie Guajardo takes a closer look at the changes that have people tonight asking, why now?
Jails across the U.S. are hotbeds for COVID-19, and Jefferson County Jail is no exception. 68 inmates have tested positive for the virus, according to the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. An inmate we spoke with asked to remain anonymous. He tells us he sleeps in a room with 8 other men, and while they wear masks, social distancing,
it's impossible.
He was sentenced in August of 2019 for a DUI. He's allowed to leave jail to run his business, and the 65-year-old was looking forward to a normal life.
I found that out the morning of November 11th, 2020, that I would be extended till January 2nd of 21.
He's one of more than 200 inmates serving a longer sentence after the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office changed how they calculate good behavior towards early release. Chris Halser,
It makes you wonder,
is a criminal defense attorney. He's also a former deputy district attorney for the Jefferson County DA's office.
legal questions really is can the Jeffco Sheriff's Office change this policy midstream?
The Jefferson County District Attorney's Office says the sheriff is within his rights to change the system, But the change is raising questions.
Whether their budget issues somehow are making them make this policy decision at such an inopportune time.
Back in January, Denver7 reported on a $5.5 million budget cut at the jail, forcing the closure of an entire floor.
About 20 inmates were released last night.
A spokesperson within the jail denies changes due to finances, but it's making a dent in the pockets of inmates on work release programs.
$6,300, that's 2 mortgage payments for me. It's a lot of money.
Another inmate we spoke with will pay nearly $6,000 under the new release date. Halser is representing inmates within the jail and is in the process of filing a motion.
We have not only constitutional obligations and statutory obligations to ensure that our prisoners, in fact, have basic human rights when they're serving these jail sentences. And additionally, exposing them to COVID seems entirely unreasonable and unjustifiable to switch this policy at this time.
He says it's likely the judges handing down the sentences took into account time for good behavior.
It seemed completely arbitrary and utterly unfair.
And this evening, CDPHE confirmed there's been 2 outbreaks at this jail, the latest one reported on November 17th. A spokesperson for the jail told us yesterday it's all about holding these inmates accountable. He says the timing for this system change has nothing to do with the pandemic. Now, we did reach out to the sheriff's office to request an interview. We've also reached out to ACLU for comment. Halser tells us he's expecting other attorneys to also file motions. Reporting live in Jefferson County, Addie Guajardo, Denver7.
They realize that Daddy is not here anymore. They really miss their dad.
A hero, a fighter, a loving father, now being remembered after losing his battle with cancer.
He taught me how to do self-defense, karate, how to ride a bicycle.
Tonight, a community is rallying behind this grieving family.
I always used to dream about him or with him.
Giving these kids a special Christmas and so much more.
When we heard about the story from you guys, it was a no-brainer.